Welcome to ComfortTV.channel News Bulletin. I am Daniel Peters with the news. Now the headlines. Customs intercept firearms, 4,841 ammunitions in Southwest. 3 Lagos laborers found dead in a makeshift apartment. National Assembly cautions Wike on planned CBT rollout. Convention. Wike's camp demands ignite fresh PDP feud. Troops kill 20 terrorists, nab suppliers in week-long offensive in Northeast. In business, CNG price hits 450 naira SCM as federal government withdraws subsidies. In foreign news, U.S. appeals court blocks Trump's use of wartime law for deportations. In sports, Kelechi Iheanacho club confirmed. Now the news in details. The Nigerian Customs Service Federal Operations Unit Zone A Ikeja has announced that they intercepted a total of 15 assorted rifles, 4,841 rounds of ammunition and other contraband within the southwestern region of the country. This is even as the unit said that the move was part of an ongoing offensive exercise in dismantle smuggling networks within the region. The Customs Area Controller in charge of the unit, Muhammadu Shaibu, stated this while addressing journalists at the command in Ikeja. Shaibu explained that the unit, acting on credible intelligence, intercepted a Nissan Almera vehicle suspected of carrying prohibited items through the Ilara Bush path near the border in Ogun State. He stressed that upon sighting officers of the command, the driver and one of passengers abandoned the vehicle and fled into the bush to avoid arrest. According to him, a thorough search of the intercepted vehicle revealed that the contrabands were carefully concealed with second-hand clothing and cartons of spaghetti. Giving details of the seized arms, he said that the unit 14 used JOJEF Magnum semi-automatic firearms designed in Italy with serial numbers. One used massbag pump action shotgun made in United States of America with serial number P256630, making it a total of 15 assorted rifles, 4,841 rounds of ammunition, 2 cartons of Dano spaghetti, 2 belts, and 1 sack of used clothing that were intercepted. He added that another patrol team made a separate interception of a Volkswagen Sprinter bus suspected to be conveying drones in a wooden box along the Akure-Ore axis in Ondo State while on a routine patrol. The CAC emphasized that the further investigation of the bus confirms the drones to be industrial drones without proper documentation. He mentioned that one of suspects was arrested in a connection with the seizures. The drone, second-hand clothing, and cartons of spaghetti have a duty-paid value of 377 million naira. 3 yet to be identified male adults have been found in their apartment on Oleteju Street in Lekki Phase 1 area of Lagos State. Our correspondent learned that the incident happened in the early hours of Sunday, where the victims reportedly lived together in a makeshift room. It was gathered that the deceased were casual workers who earn a living by running errands and taking up daily labor within the neighborhood. A resident who identified himself simply as Alfred but pleaded not to be identified because he was not permitted to speak with the media said the victims were asleep when the attackers stormed the room. According to him, the attackers dragged them out of their room and macheted them to death in a process. One of their colleagues, who also stayed around there, raised an alarm over an attack on the boys. When people got to the scene, the 3 of them were found lying in a pool of blood with machete cuts all over their bodies, and they were told the assailants dragged them out of the room before killing them. Another resident, who is a member of the Lekki Estate Residents Association but asked not to be named, said the incident threw the area into panic. He said no such incident had ever been recorded on the street, adding that the police were immediately invited to the scene of the incident. As of press time, the motive behind the killing was still unclear. Newsmen, however, learned from the sources in the community that it might be linked to court clashes or a dispute involving the deceased. The Lagos State Police Public Relations Officer, CSP Benjamin Hundeyin, could not be reached for confirmation as cause to this phone we are not responded to. A text message sent to him had yet to be replied to as of the time of report was filed. Lawmakers in the National Assembly have conjured the West African Examination Council to tread carefully in its planned introduction of computer-based testing for the West African Senior School Certificate Examination, warning that any glitch in the 2026 rollout could jeopardize the future of millions of Nigerian students. Wike had earlier given firm assurance that the new computer-based examination would be accessible to students in every part of the country, regardless of location or access to technology. Head of the Wike National Office, Dr. Amos Dangut, made a pledge in Abuja during a sensitization session organized for members of the National Assembly Committees on Education. He explained that a phased approach was already being implemented, starting with objective questions before expanding to theory and practical components to allow students and candidates adapt. But several senators and members of the House of Representatives, while commending on the initiative, expressed deep concerns about the country's uneven access to technology, persistent infrastructural deficit, and low levels of digital literacy among students in the rural communities. The Vice Chairman of the Senate Committee on Education, Basic and Secondary, Senator Ekong Samson, warned that rushing the nationwide rollout could create more problems than it solves. Similarly, Senator Victor Ume stressed the importance of fairness and inclusivity, warning that students must not be disadvantaged because of their backgrounds. Ume stressed that Wike must take cognizance of the large number of candidates, adding that for instead, the CBT should be combined with the old process. A House of Representative member, Oboku Ofoji Yenogua Kologuma Opokuma, Federal Constituency in Bayelsa State, also emphasized the need for proper groundwork before the 2026 deadline. He specifically urged the government to establish at least one fully functional CBT center in each of the 774 local government areas to bridge the digital divide. The Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, also assured parents, teachers, and students that no child will be left behind in this digital transition. Governors elected under the platform of People's Democratic Party, alongside the party's national chairman, Umaru Dangum, and other leaders, have affirmed that the National Elective Convention, scheduled for November 15 and 16 in Ibadan, Oyo State, will be held despite the conditions set by the Federal Capital Territory Minister, Nyesom Wike's camp. Speaking on behalf of the governors in Abuja at the inauguration of the 119-member National Convention Planning Committee, chaired by Adamawa State Governor Amadu Fintiri, the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, and Bauchi State Governor Bala Muhammad, declared that they are not cowards. The governors, in a clear response to Wike's camp, stated also vowed to take disciplinary action against those undermining the party's interest, insisting that the PDP will not bow to arrogance and impunity, or what they describe as faction are fools. In the same vein, the PDP Board of Trustees chairman Adafo Suwabara, represented by the Secretary Ahmed Mekarifi, and other party leaders, emphasized that both northern and southern leaders are free to microzone party positions, while stressing that interested members equally have the right to contest. After withering a prolonged internal crisis, the PDP scheduled its November convention to elect new members of the National Working Committee as part of efforts to reposition the party. However, while leaders are pushing for the convention to proceed as planned, Wike and some of his allies have continued efforts to stall the exercise over disputes surrounding the Southeast and South-South zonal leadership. Members of the PDP loyal to FCT minister under the banner of the eminent leaders and concerned stakeholders of the PDP warned that the party's forthcoming national convention in November would be invalid if their resolutions are not implemented. Troops of Operation Hadinkai neutralized more than 20 terrorists, arrested several collaborators, and recovered arms during coordinated operations across the Northeast between August 23 and August 30th. A military source told the News Agency of Nigeria that operations took place in Guba, Gubbio, Sabaswa, Wuntakom, Madarari, Gijana, Konduga, Banki, and Loskurikura in Borno and Yobe states. He said the operations were supported by the air component and local security outfit. According to the source, troops recovered AK-47 rifles, rocket-propelled grenade tubes, bombs, hundreds of 7.62 mm rounds, and large quantities of logistic items. They also safely donated improvised explosion device during the clearance operations. Additionally, soldiers intercepted 242 bags of NPK fertilizer meant for insurgents. Fertilizer is often used by terrorists in producing improvised explosive devices. The offensives disrupted insurgent supply chains, denying terrorists freedom of action and enabling safer socio-economic activities in the region, according to the source. The military high command commended the troops for resilience and professionalism, assuring them of sustained support to consolidate gains in ongoing counter-insurgency operations. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has reaffirmed that the establishment of state police is unavoidable as part of the effort of strengthening security across the country. Speaking at the presidential villa in Abuja during a courtesy visit by a delegation of prominent Katsina indigents led by Governor Diko Rada, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said the federal government is committed to confronting insecurity head-on. The president directed security agencies to release their operations in Katsina State, which has witnessed a spike in banditry, and disclosed that advanced military equipment and surveillance technology would be deployed. He also revealed plans to enhance the capacity of newly recruited forest guards in the state. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu stressed that while the country faces serious security challenges, they can be resolved with determination and strategy. The president further instructed that he be giving daily updates on security operations in Katsina. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu reminded the delegation that in February 2024, the federal government formed a committee to study the framework for state policing. The initiative have since gained wide support, although as of March, 20 states had yet to submit their support, according to the Vice President Kashim Shettima. Gunmen have kidnapped a traditional ruler, David Wada, who is a district head of Bagaji Odo in Omala local government area of Kogi State. Residents said the monarch was kidnapped on Monday evening while returning from a traditional council meeting held at Abejukolo, headquarters of Omala local government area. The paramount ruler of the local government tradition council, Boniface Musa, who is the Ono Ife, confirmed the incident to reporters. He appealed to security agencies to ensure the traditional ruler's safe rescue. It was learned that Wada was abducted at a spot known as Ojuwo Ugweche around 5 p.m. on Monday. The commercial cyclist conveying him on a motorcycle when the gunmen waylaid them reportedly escaped by whiskers. A 16-year-old woman has given birth to babies at Afe, Babalola University Multi-System Hospital, Ado-Ekiti, after many years of waiting. A statement in Ado-Ekiti by Director of Corporate Affairs, Tunde Olafintila, said the feat was achieved at the hospital's fertility center through advanced reproductive technology and comprehensive antenatal care. The Chief Medical Director, Dr. Akinola Akimade, praised the teamwork that made the delivery possible, noting that the collaboration between Olive Hospital and the multi-system hospital was critical to the medical field. He said the feat highlighted how modern fertility treatment and quality obstetric services could deliver positive outcomes even in high-risk pregnancies. Akimade said the hospital fertilizer center, which was well equipped with modern infrastructures and dedicated specialists, enabled the hospital to safely manage complex maternal cases that might otherwise require treatment abroad. He added that the hospital, established in 2017, had built a reputation as one of the best equipped facilities in sub-Saharan Africa, with cutting-edge technology and expertise across multiple specialties. Akimade said the hospital had recorded multiple successes in complex procedures, including kidney transplants, open heart surgeries, brain and spine operations, and interventional radiology. The federal government has declared Friday, September 5th, 2025, a public holiday to celebrate Eid al-Mawlid, the birth of the Holy Prophet Muhammad. The declaration was made in a statement issued by the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Interior, Dr. Mandelin Ajani, in Abuja. The statement said the Minister of Interior, Dr. Olubumi Tunji Ojo, on behalf of the federal government, extended warm greetings to Muslims in Nigeria and across the world. Tunji Ojo called on the Muslim Ummah to emulate the Prophet's virtues of peace, love, humanity, tolerance, and compassion. The celebration of Eid al-Mawlid offers Muslims yet another opportunity to strengthen the bonds of brotherhood, promote peaceful coexistence, and imbibe the Prophet's teachings of mutual respect and selfless service to humanity, part of the statement reads. Amnesty International Nigeria has demanded a thorough investigation into August 29 killing of engineer Abdurrahim Mustafa Abubakar, a postgraduate student of the Nigerian Defense Academy, allegedly by police personnel in Kaduna. The Global Human Rights Group made the demand in a statement signed by its director, Issa Sanusi, and issued on Tuesday. Reports indicated that Abubakar was riding on a commercial motorcycle to his master's classes at the NDA when a police van allegedly hit his vehicle and an officer struck him on the head with a bamboo stick, leading to his death. However, the Kaduna State Police Command alleged that Abubakar's motorcycle collided with a stationary mobile police vehicle and fled the scene, a claim the family vehemently disputed. Minister for Youth Development in Nigeria, Ayodele Oluwande, vowed to ensure justice is served in the matter, disclosing that his office has activated the Nigerian Youth Help Desk to verify the circumstances surrounding the postgraduate student's demise. Reacting to the development, Amnesty said the investigation into the horrific killing must be immediate and impartial. The human rights body said the police must be prevented from handling the investigation to ensure impartiality. Stay tuned. The next is business, foreign, and sports news. Welcome back. You're still watching ComfortTV.channel. In business, amid long queues and insufficient filling stations, the cost of the standard cubic meters of compressed natural gas has jumped from 230 naira to 450 naira. Our correspondent gathered from the retailers that the government reviewed the price recently to 450 naira, reducing its subsidy. In foreign news, a U.S. federal appeal court ruled Tuesday against President Donald Trump's use of a wartime law to deport alleged Venezuelan gang members and block its use in some southern states. Trump first invoked the 1798 Alien Enemies Act on March 15 and flew two plane loads of alleged members of the Tren de Aragua gang to El Salvador's notorious maximum security Secret prison. Now in sports. Super Eagles forward Kelechi Iheanacho has signed for Celtic as a free agent. The Scottish champions were among three teams fighting to secure the 28-year-old signature. Iheanacho saw his Sevilla contract terminated by mutual consent on transfer deadline. He has now put pen to paper on a one-year contract with Celtic manager Brendan Rodgers. Believes Iheanacho, who he worked with at Leicester City, will make a big contribution. The Nigerian replaces Adam Ida, who joined Swansea City for an undisclosed fee. Iheanacho moved to Sevilla last summer before spending the end of season on loan with English Championship side Middlesbrough. This is the end of our news bulletin, but before we go, here are the headlines again. Customs intercept firearms 4,841 ammunition in Southwest. 3 Lagos laborers found dead in makeshift apartments. National Assembly cautions Wike on planned CBT rollout. In convention, Wike scam demands ignite fresh PDP feud. Troops kill 20 terrorists, nab suppliers in week-long offensive in Northeast. In business, CNG price hit 450 naira SCM as FG withdraws subsidies. In foreign news, US appeals court blocked Trump's use of wartime law for deportations. In sports, Kelechi Iheanacho's new club confirmed. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I am Daniel Peters.